Good day to you, my friends, I'm Kenator, and it's time for a review of I Am Future, which has just launched into early access. The colourful and quirky survival game played nearly entirely on skyscraper rooftops, so strap on those bionic hands because it's about to get weird. Quick shout out to the developer Mandragora for kindly supplying this review copy. As always, I'll be keeping spoilers to an absolute minimum, and I've completed all there is to complete in this version of the game, so it will not just be a first impression. I Am Future immediately sets the tone with this wonderfully animated intro. It's pretty quick, it's funny, and it gets you situated in the world pretty quickly. Just don't think too deeply on how that cryopod still has power after all this time, when everything else in the world is completely wrecked. Power issues aside, you hop out and take your first look around, and this place is absolutely trashed. The OCD among you will immediately feel the desire to start cleaning this place up, which is exactly where the game introduces you to the gameplay around objects and material management, and the salvaging turns into a little puzzle game. Some items can be just straight picked up. Sometimes objects like a box will need its contents picked up before you can break down the box as well. You will soon find most wood items can be broken down, but they need a saw. And after a little exploring, you do indeed find a rusty old saw for your bionic arm. Using the saw requires holding right and then left, which is, kinda like a sawing motion. This will be a common theme with all your tools. Each will have its own unique motion you need to use to make them work. And your main tool, the saw, will see several upgrades to allow it to cut through different materials. As you salvage your way through the rooftop, you will find each new tool or upgrade will allow you to access a new area through its correct use. Another quite fun part of the game for me was to get materials from manual disassembly. So far there are only 4 different types of these objects, and each of them is their own simple minigame. Taking out the screws and covers and then the internal components until you have everything useful from the object. This could normally net you some slightly rarer components that you might not be able to make or otherwise have access to. I found this quite fun, but it quickly got repetitive with the limited amount of items, and I wish there were just more of these. The game has 2 main types of items, the small ones that fit in your bag, and larger ones which can be carried around in your arms, namely the wood beams and the metal sheets, which you'll find in the starting area, with another you'll have access to later. These are used to make your buildables, like your workbench or storage boxes. And through the game there are several different buildings and upgrades to find and unlock and then make. Each of these will make your life easier, be it giving you access to new tools or simply providing you with a box to grow a plant in. For its survival elements you have 2 areas to think about. Don't panic though, the game is pretty easygoing and plays very much on the fun side rather than being difficult. First is food, which is also quite varied. You start with simple berries and mushrooms or just even bush leaves to keep yourself alive, before moving on to fishing and cooking your own meals. This itself is its own minigame, letting you put together different ingredients to try and find a new recipe to make, and these will keep you fed for much longer. I really enjoyed this aspect of the game as it gets harder the deeper into the game you go, as you have more and more variety of ingredients, and you have to start thinking a bit more logically about what can and can't go together. The other area of survival is the flora and fauna. Dangerous plants have taken root on the building, which seem to produce these slugs during the nighttime. Not only do they sap your power and eat your crops, but they also sprout into deadly plants themselves. These ones are smaller and can be dealt with in various ways, but if left alone, you will find your rooftop covered in them. Again, the game keeps to the fun side of life and you can't actually die. You just kind of fall unconscious for a short while should you starve or get hurt too much. And this can be easily healed primarily by eating and sleeping. If you have seen anything on this game so far, including the thumbnail to this video, then you have probably seen the handy little drone that also features in the trailer. These handy little pod machines can make sorting out the abundance of items you find that bit easier, and can even help you build later on by collecting the resources needed and taking them to the build site. Sadly, this is where I bumped into my first major bug. The pathing for these drones was downright awful in the build I was playing, but it is a pre-release build of an early access game, so I'd expect minor bugs. But hats off to the developers though, as they managed to fix this one yesterday in time for the launch. Now it won't take you long to find a fixable piece of equipment on the roof. which controls a different type of drone, a flying drone that will help you access different areas of the city. Here you'll be able to gather materials each day from the various sites, as well as find some unique items and more. But be warned, your poor little drone has a short battery per day, so you'll need to take your time exploring the whole map between all of your other Roofly duties. And that's pretty much it without spoiling the story elements. Just keep salvaging up all the useful materials and make yourself a vibrant, sustainable little camp as the last human left on Earth. Honestly, it was a little short for me, but I did enjoy every bit of it, because while it's nothing groundbreaking, what it does well in my opinion. The game constantly had me saying just one more thing, and before you know it, 4 hours had passed. That said, it only took around 7 to 8 hours to complete what was available, which is not bad at all for the asking price of only $15. And the only other major bug I bumped into was falling through the level. This only happened once and I couldn't repeat it at all. Either way, I informed the dev team and this too will be fixed. With charming visuals and a relaxing vibe, I Am Future is perfect for anyone that likes creating order from chaos or just enjoys a more casual playstyle in their games. As for performance, I had no issues in this area and it ran completely fine for me. The only nitpick I could think of is that the load times did get a little bit long towards the end of my playthrough. One last thing to mention, however, is the future of I Am Future. The devs have already posted an early access roadmap for the content they plan on adding to the game. No timeline with this one, however, but in my opinion, that's a good thing. It should mean we get updates as and when they are ready and not at some arbitrary date. All of these will definitely add more content and fun to the game, as well as eventually complete the story, which, judging from the world map areas currently unavailable, would probably double the playtime at a minimum. So if fun and wholesome games is your thing, just head down to the description for the links to I Am Future's Steam page and their official Discord. On your way there, don't forget to give the like button a little tickle, as it helps YouTube show this review to more people. Sub for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Kenator, out.